guys in the dark.
Alright, so I had the honor of photographing Warped Tour, which was one of my biggest dreams, and it had come true. I believe it was during Falling in Reverse, and I was minding my own business, photographing that creepy-ass Ronnie Radke guy. I then noticed all the photographers were getting kicked out, half a song into their first song. We had maybe 2 to 3 songs to photograph. I got pissed because I didn't think that I had enough photos of them, which I did. I've been on my iPad for months, and I haven't uploaded the last 2 bands. Whoops. And I got mad. We exited stage left, and then I noticed why we were getting kicked out. A girl had lost consciousness and was on the ground. People were trampling all over her, not even caring about her, and that she was in a life-threatening, dangerous situation. I say screw you to those moshers. People's lives are worth more than just dancing. And no one was doing anything about it. So many people were crowd surfing out just to catch a glimpse of this girl. I was standing on the closest side from her, and all the security guards were getting trampled with crowd surfers. I gave all of my shit to my sister and started yelling, "Get the hell out of my way. Someone happens to be down. Make a path for the paramedics to get her." Things like that. Half of the people were listening and trying to move, while the other half gave me death glares, and many of them tried to start a fight with me. A security guard had gotten to the girl from the front by jumping over the barrier. He was trying to make room for the paramedics and a stretcher to get through, but the moshers didn't give a damn. The drunks were just as bad, and they threatened to punch me until I was unconscious myself. The paramedics couldn't get through, no matter how hard me and the 2 paramedics and the security guard had tried. The security guard picked up the girl, God bless his soul, and his poor back for carrying her through everyone and got her to the stretcher, which people were still trying to fight everyone helping out. Just the same 3 plus me people trying to do this, and we were so close to getting pepper sprayed. I wish that they were. They were all up in my face, and I would have been trampled to death if someone got me on the ground. That's how angry they were for having their little moshing party interrupted. All while Falling in Reverse just kept on playing. They didn't acknowledge the girl once, and made everything a million times harder for us. Anyways, the girl was totally unresponsive. She was on the ground for a good 5 to 7 minutes. They were working so hard to get her to come back. All that effort paid off, though. She jerked awake, and then passed out once again. But this time her vitals were actually showing. The whole thing made me reevaluate how concerts are, and how dangerous they really can be. Honestly, if you were at a concert, in a mosh pit, and someone falls down or gets hurt or something like that, you fucking stop whatever you are doing, try to get others to help, and help that person out. You could be saving their lives, or helping them die, get killed. It's all up to you. What you do that second when you see someone hit the floor. I don't give a damn that it's your favorite band, your favorite song, if your friends won't help you. You do all that you can to help this person get out of the pit ASAP. And fucking survive. Anyone who doesn't help, you're the lowest scum of the face of the earth. Just expect not to get any help if you get hurt, fall down, or anything like that. You definitely deserve what's coming to you if you don't help that person out. Remember, it's always, and for the rest of your life, be in the back of your head and right on your shoulders. Just remember that. Boy, do I have a story for you. I was just at the show recently, in what has to become an infamous date and city for Slipknot. There were only 4 bands on the bill, Slipknot being the headliners. The entire night was fine. Nothing but people having fun. Then Slipknot hits the stage, and by then everyone happens to be hyped. The whole place is packed with fans. About 3 songs into their set, their bassist suddenly collapsed, and then is rushed backstage. I didn't see it because I was all the way at the back, but this is what I've heard. The singer, Corey, comes out and explains that someone needs medical attention, and for us to wait while they sort it out. A few minutes happens to go by, and no one has any idea what has happened, and if the show will even go on. We're all waiting, and some drunk guy behind us starts insulting the band. He has the balls to go up to some staff members in front of us, and calls the band a bunch of girls. One of the staff in question was in fact a female. Drunk guy climbs on the nearby garbage can and screams for Slipknot to come back on, to stop being pussies. He leaves, comes back, climbs on the can once again, screams, and then leaves. Security happens to stay by just in case, but he doesn't show up again. Finally, Corey comes back out, tells us that the bassist, Alex, is being taken to a hospital, and for us to give him some support. Surprisingly, the band goes on with the set, even performing a 3-song encore. Other stuff like that happened, including a shoe being thrown and almost hitting a female staff member from before. Some fat guy being rude and pushing the girl right behind me. Some random guy flashing the gross V tongue sign at me. And a guy being carried off by 4 people because he happened to get hurt. Amazingly, Alex was okay despite having severe dehydration. He's on tour again. He even actually played their scheduled show in Mansfield. Third or fourth time seeing Flogging Molly. This was at Warped Tour 2003 or so. It's been a while since I've been to any concerts, but I used to go a lot. And Flogging Molly is my second only to me. At least my best concert to participate in. This chubby girl was moshing right in front of me. The poor girl was getting knocked around. She was doing her best. She was a real trooper. But this was particularly violent mosh pit. You know how the crowds are, or were at Warped Tour. Just too many people in too small of an area. She got knocked down a couple of times. Even was stomped on and trampled on. Me and I guess another guy had helped her back up. And spirited girl she was. Even though she was getting knocked around, she was moshing along with the rest of us and trying her best. Well, she got like rabbit punched by somebody's elbow. Whether this was intentional or partially intentional, or by accident, I'll never know. She got hit and hit the ground. The crowd had at least dispersed around her enough not to step on her. But the disturbing thing was, not only was she completely knocked out cold, but she was twitching and shaking. Whatever the rabbit punch did, it got her in a good way. Her leg was shaking, and she was unconscious, with no control over her body movements. This had unnerved me enough to jump up and down, waving at the singer frantically, screaming, "Stop the song! Stop the song! This girl happens to be hurt." Mind you, I was only 20 at the time, so I wasn't sure at the time if I was doing the right thing or not. The singer had just noticed me, looking at me, and continue on playing. I don't hold it against Dave King. There's probably some kind of musician's code or something, that what goes on in the mosh pit stays in the mosh pit. I'm sure there was a good reason, though. But I was worried about this girl's life, and not just me. About 4 of us. It had taken all 4. She was pretty heavy. Not just her weight, but the tenseness of her body. The fact that she wasn't limp. She was tensed up. It made her 150 or so pounds into a dense structure that felt like much more. We moved her out, with, ironically, a WT medical staff booth just outside of the pit. We dropped her off there, with concert medical staff, and then not really knowing what more we could do, we sort of just slumped our heads, and then rejoined the concert. I really hope that that girl is okay. I didn't see her afterwards, and I didn't hear anything about it after the concert. I kind of wish that I would have saw her right after, or at least during, so that I would know if she was okay or not. My brother and I used to be huge Five Finger Death Punch fans, so we jumped at the chance to see them, and it was Killswitch Engaged as well. The show itself was originally going to be an outdoor stage, but because of the upcoming rain, it was moved to the main stage amphitheater. That meant that all attendees that would originally have come to go crazy there are now squeezed into a pit of a large theater. As the day wore on, the bigger bands had come on. The crowds got crazier, drunker, and more aggressive. My brother and I were at the front, against the fence that separated the stage from the pit, so we were constantly being squeezed against the fence. Not good for someone with glasses like me. Even worse when people started crowd surfing, and I had no strength to help them get over the fence. Later on, some guy behind us was being a total asshole to some girl. He kept accidentally bumping into my back. I was much shorter than him, so I ended up feeling parts of him that I never want to have contact with ever again. Finally, during Killswitch Engage's set, a crowd surfer kicked me in the back of the head, causing me to black out for the entire first half of a song. I ended up throwing up right after over the fence, inches from the shoe of the security guard, which somehow actually helped me feel better. By the time that Five Finger Death Punch had come on, I was full of energy once again, but I was wearing a huge ring with sharp edges. And when I got pushed, I ended up cutting my hand with the ring. The cut wasn't so bad, but I was bleeding and still have a scar from it to this day. The show was still fun, but man, I do regret those instances. Overall, based on what I heard after, it seems like it was a pretty violent show since a lot of people came away with bruises. There's a lesson for all of you. Don't wear huge jewelry to a concert, especially if you have to be pushed up against a fence like I did. My brother and I attended the third Mayhem Festival when I was 15, and he happened to be 12. We were there alone, but we were excited to see the headliners, Korn, Rob Zombie, and Five Finger Death Punch. We were so hyped when we got there before the venue doors even opened. When they did open up, we immediately rushed to the front of one of the second stages despite not knowing who the first band was. Unfortunately, my brother got too into it and headbanged so hard that he happened to get sick. I was hoping that he just needed water, so I offered to buy him some from a roaming vendor. My brother ended up throwing up in front of the vendor, who asked him if he needed to be taken to the medical tent. I knew if he did, we would probably be yelled at for being so young and unattended at a metal show. But unfortunately, my brother agreed to go there before I could stop him. The EMT did exactly what I expected him to do. He yelled at us for being unattended to at a metal show. My brother was taken to the hospital for dehydration, and they discharged him the very same day. Our parents had taken us home. We ended up missing the entire concert, only seeing one of the bands out of the 12-band lineup. My brother still feels bad about it to this day. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and hit the bell for notifications on future videos, and become a stalker of the night. And I'll see you next time.